Hello, friends. I hope you can hear me all right. I am using my new microphone. Still a few bugs to work out. I'm in downtown Raleigh. I came down here because the biggest bluegrass festival in the world is happening in downtown Raleigh. But alas, I got here a little bit early. I was hoping to find some bluegrass musicians playing, and I did find some spontaneous performance, one in the hallway, but it didn't last very long. So I decided to come over here to the local Starbucks coffee shop. Y'all know what Starbucks is, right? It's this little local coffee shop we have in Raleigh, you know? Yeah. Nice little place. Anyway, and while I am waiting for the bluegrass musicians to get their act together, by the way, I'm not kidding. I forget what it's called, but it's the biggest bluegrass festival in the world. It used to be in Nashville, understandably, but it's been in Raleigh for 4 years or 5. And I read the promo yesterday. It said 200,000 people come to this festival, mostly this weekend. I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to come in this weekend. I sure hope so. So all of a sudden I got it in my mind that I want to paint some glue brass people. One of my granddaughters would certainly call it glue brass. It's rubbing off on me. By the way, one of my granddaughters, Tali, turned 3 today. Today's her birthday, so I got to get home in time for her birthday party. But I'm going to turn you around, and I'm going to try not to violate, anybody else's privacy here at this fine establishment, so as to get in trouble by violating people's privacy. But I think this will work. And so I'm painting that over there. Your basic. Whoops. Now I need to know if that's. I think that's still in the screen, isn't it? So this is what I call a bluegrass. What I call a watercolor sketch. Where I start out with watercolor pencils and then work my way up. From that, there's a person behind the counter. So I start out with real light colors. Forgive me, I know you guys can hardly even see this color, but if you'll listen to me for just a moment, that is actually the point. The point is this yellow barely shows up on this warm white paper. And there's a reason for that. The reason being that I'm going to graduate right now to a darker color. In this case, it'll be orange. And now that does begin to show up, right? So this is a little trick that I'm sure other people have done, but I sort of discovered it myself several years ago after many years of fairly traditional watercolor painting and drawing. I stumbled on this little trick of doing the drawing with progressively darker shades of pencil. With each subsequent layer of pencil, the previous layer essentially disappears. I hope you know what I mean by that. It doesn't literally disappear, but already my eye ignores the yellow drawing because it's shouted down by the orange, the darker color. And likewise, in a few minutes, I'm going to do another color, either blue or red or something. And at that point, this red, orange, will essentially disappear also. because each darker color makes the previous darker color seem to disappear. So that allows me to work out my entire drawing without having to do any erasing or anything like that. And then when I come and do water on top of this, of course, the watercolor pencil will be awakened and will turn into watercolor itself. So the fun effect is that I have these colors, all of these colors, emerging through all the watercolor I draw on top of it. Forgive me, by the way. I know that I recognize the fact that I'm speaking in a very halting manner. The reason for that is simple. It's because I'm trying to talk and draw at the same time. And yes, my brain goes into slight overload when I try to operate out of the, using words and doing the hard work of drawing at the same time. So forgive my ridiculous halting speech. So I'm hoping that after I sit here for an hour and a half or 2 hours doing a painting of Starbucks, I am hoping that I can go across the street and find some bluegrass musicians playing. Whoops, I just made a mistake. And of course that's the reason for this, doing it in progressive colors. My mistakes don't really matter that much because I'll cover them up shortly. Okay, that's the end of my second layer. Now, next, and I discovered a little while ago that I do not have a little handheld pencil sharpener here, so that's a bit of a bummer. I'll have to sharpen with a knife, which works fine. It's just a little bit slower. Now, do I want to go red or do I want to go blue or brown or purple? I think I'm going to go red, and that means, forgive me for just a moment, I need to break out the ever-present penknife and sharpen my red pencil just a little bit. So yes, I'm sitting here in a Starbucks with a bag, a little nylon bag on the floor at my feet, and a little tripod which you guys are sitting on over my left shoulder, and with a headset on, talking to myself, drawing. In other words, I look a little bit weird. And every once in a while, I feel like a normal person and go, dang, that's a little weird. But then most of the time, I just get over it. And I say all that to say to some of you aspiring artists, really part of being a real artist is honestly being a little bit weird. Now, I've made such a career of being weird in so many different areas of life that I'm almost used to it. Notice the word almost. But I encourage you, again, you aspiring artists, to, in fact, do get over it. Your art is too important to be put off by feelings of timidity. To heck with timidity. Oh, Let me drink this coffee before it gets all cold. Oh, while I'm on the subject, let me add, too, that while I'm on the subject of drinking my coffee, if you artists, fellow artists, if you want to follow my lead and do things as weird as making a bit of a scene, just a little bit, not too much, in a coffee shop, let me strongly urge that you buy something from the coffee shop. So that's what gives me the feeling that I have permission to do this. I didn't just buy coffee, and you know how expensive that is at Starbucks. I actually bought a sandwich. So, I paid $13. If you want to know exactly, I paid $13 for the privilege of sitting here. And I also mentioned to the girls behind the counter, I told them what I was going to be doing. They said, sure, no problem. So anyway, just for what it's worth, I'll pass that on. I don't feel comfortable coming into an establishment and just, being a real interloper. At least for me. Some people might, but no, I feel like it's proper to give them your business, and then they're more likely to not complain. Now the place is pretty empty too. It's 2 o'clock? Yeah, getting close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not like I'm here at rush hour. Okay, let me talk to myself artistically for just a minute. One of the weaknesses that I have observed in myself, in all of my art, maybe especially in my watercolor, maybe, is that I have a tendency to fill up the entire space, or I feel like I need to fill up the entire space, which my head knows better. I do not need to fill all of this up with definition. And in fact, this would probably will be a significantly better painting if I resist that temptation. But what happens is, just like I'm doing right now, I'm happily drawing, minding my own business, drawing, and sort of put my head down and forget what I'm doing and just fill up the whole thing. Which then results in a overly busy, no focal point kind of painting. So just between you and me right now, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and more or less do the whole drawing, but then when it comes to painting time, I'm going to try to just focus in on the focal point, wherever that is, and let the rest of the painting, the illustration, get fuzzed out, if you will. I like my woman here. Complete with green apron, of course. The Starbucks green apron. Okay, done with red. So again, are you still with me? Some of you are. I did yellow to get the most vague lines in place, then orange, then red. And now I'm going to switch to either purple or blue. Of course, going right around the color wheel would be purple, but I don't think I need to do purple. I've got enough detail going here. Let me pick out which kind of blue I want. Yeah, violet blue. And forgive me, once again, I need to sharpen this pencil. Yeah, I wish I had a little handheld pencil sharpener. It'd be a little bit faster than this. Okay. Try to contain my messes. Now, with this purple, I am, in fact, going to just zero in. I'm almost at the point, by the way, where I switch from a sketching grip to a detail grip. Right on the boundary between those two. So what I'm thinking here is I want to remedy the weakness I mentioned just a little while ago. My tendency being to draw too much of the whole thing. Does that make sense? So with this purple, I'm going to make a conscious effort to not draw the entire thing. Just draw the parts that I want to consider a focal point. Are you with me? So the question I'm facing is how far out do I want to carry this color? And I am not sure. I hope you can see this well enough to see the principle that I described earlier which is with every darker color, when a darker color is applied to the drawing, the previous darkest color, which is now a lighter color, tends to disappear. Which means you can go ahead and do quite a bit of drawing without having to do any erasing. You can just make corrections ignoring the erroneous underlying color. Now, I do feel like my barista woman here is a pretty important part of this image, so. Oh, almost. Okay. I think I'm ready to start doing some painting now. And this is probably a good place for me to pause, you guys. I'm going to do episode number 2 or 216B over on Facebook. Hope that's all right with you. If you want to go watch the rest of it, whoops. Let me get some lines straight here. Glad I saw that. Go to Facebook /Dan the Artman. Man, I should remember to do this all the time. Take an image and stand it on in, because evidently my eye can see horizontal better than it can see vertical. For some reason, it's easy for me to get my verticals off. Okay, that's enough. I'll be back later today on YouTube if you want to watch me. Otherwise, I'm moving over to Facebook. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.